Hey everyone! I just wanted to show you what our family of 4 typically eats in a week. Every week's a little bit different, but pretty much at the beginning of every week I feed my sourdough starter and I make 2 loaves of the sourdough discard sandwich bread, which I have linked on simplyeatathome.com. This bread is really delicious. The boys take their sandwiches to work every day on this bread, and most of the time, instead of lunch meat, I will fry up a couple of packages of shaved steak because the only ingredient is steak. And I do buy lunch meat sometimes, but I buy nitrate free. There are some other ingredients in there that I'm not a fan of. Here I'm roasting up some poblano peppers from the garden, and I'm gonna stick those in a bowl and cover them for 15 minutes so the skin peels off easily. I'm going to de-stem them and de-seed them because I'm going to use these in the mac and cheese that I make for supper that night. I fry up a pound of ground sausage, Italian sausage, and I add that to the cooked pasta. And I use some heavy cream and some milk, some Monterey Jack cheese and some cheddar cheese, and I blend that all together on the stove over low heat until the cheese is melted. Then I add in the chopped poblanos and add it to the pasta. Sometimes I puree the poblanos before adding the cheese into the milk and cream, but this time I just chopped them small and it worked out great. This makes a delicious dinner. It's filling and hearty and it's pretty easy. It comes together fairly quickly. I'm going to cover it and bake it in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, 400 degrees. I serve this with a side salad, so we got some greens also. And at the beginning of the week, we picked peaches. We picked a lot of peaches, so I needed to find a lot of different things to do with them. So the next night we had some grilled peaches. I just halved them and took the pit out. I put a little avocado oil on them, a little drizzle of honey, a little cinnamon, and some salt and pepper. And I put them cut side down onto the grill right next to 2 pork tenderloins. And the pork tenderloins I just seasoned with some basic seasoning, some salt and pepper, a little bit of cumin, some onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of Mexican oregano, nothing fancy. And once the peaches were caramelized and had some grill marks on them, they were ready. That only takes a few minutes. Another thing I made to go along with the pork tenderloin and peaches was a fresh raw cranberry sauce, a cranberry relish. It's just a package of cranberries, an orange, some coconut sugar, all through the food processor together, and just served that alongside the pork tenderloin and the peaches. And we also had some steamed corn on the cob. It made a really healthy and delicious dinner. This raw cranberry relish is also really good on oatmeal or a bowl of quinoa for breakfast. You can put it on your yogurt. So here my sourdough starter that I fed is nice and bubbly. It's doubled in size. And I made some sourdough hot honey bread. I just chopped up some pickled cherry peppers and put in some crushed red pepper along with the honey. And it made 2 loaves of bread. They didn't rise quite as much as I would have liked them to, but they were still great. I just cut them horizontally instead of in slices. And I'll show you, we made some really good BLTs that night for dinner with this bread. So I just cooked up some nitrate-free bacon on a sheet pan in the oven. I like doing it that way. I had some fresh tomatoes from the garden, some avocado mayonnaise, and lettuce, of course. And it made some delicious sandwiches for dinner. My plan was to serve the sandwiches alongside of some quinoa broccoli cheddar bites that I had made, but those got eaten before dinner even started. So here's the quinoa that I made for the broccoli cheddar quinoa bites, but I also use quinoa for breakfast many times. I toss it with some scrambled eggs and some greens and a little bit of fresh ginger, some miso paste in a pan, and it makes a really delicious breakfast. Or you can use it in place of oats and use it just like you would oatmeal, with some yogurt, some fresh berries, a little bit of coconut sugar, maple syrup, however you would have your oatmeal. And here's the scrambled egg mixture that I did for breakfast. I really like the fermented chili paste. And this is the pan of the quinoa broccoli cheddar bites. So this recipe, I've been making it for quite a few years. It's from a book called Yum and Yummer. I do have a link on the post on my website that you can get this recipe. It's so delicious. It's really easy. It makes 24 broccoli cheddar quinoa bites. It would be great to put in the kids' lunch boxes for back to school. It's a great little breakfast snack. And the next night, we love our smoker, so we made some chicken thighs on the smoker. We just put some barbecue seasoning on the chicken thighs. It takes about 3 hours on the smoker. I made a pasta salad with the leftover crab meat that I had from my shrimp and crab bisque, and I added some olives and some frozen peas. I like adding the frozen peas to the strainer before I drain the pasta, and the hot pasta liquid will thaw out the peas enough to put them in the salad without cooking them. I threw in some olives and some fresh herbs and avocado mayo. And I also had a garden salad with some cucumbers and tomatoes that we picked from the garden and some steamed green beans. And I just tossed that with a white peach balsamic vinaigrette. I did use a lot of parsley and fresh basil and a little bit of oregano in both the pasta salad and on the garden salad. And here you can see just how tender and juicy the chicken comes out on the smoker. If you don't have a smoker, you can do the same thing in the oven. Here I was given some purple pole beans from Emily at pawsandpedalshomestead.com, and I had never used them before, and I also had never made pickled string beans, so I really wanted to try that. I just put in some cloves of garlic and some apple cider vinegar and a little sugar, a little salt, and threw them into a water bath for, I think it was maybe 15 minutes, but now we have to let them sit for 3 weeks before we can eat them. So I don't know what they taste like, but I'm sure they're going to be delicious because I love anything pickled. Next, I made a sourdough banana bread. I do have my own banana bread recipes, but I love incorporating this one every couple of weeks. I make Lisa's recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. She has a great recipe for sourdough banana bread. It's really delicious. It makes a really big bread, and it's light and fluffy, and then you get the benefits of the sourdough in there as well. So check out her recipe at farmhouseonboone.com. I like adding the parchment paper in the pan before putting the bread batter in. It makes it so easy to just take the bread out. And here I made a sheet pan dinner. I had some healthy chicken, spinach, sausages, and a couple of sweet potatoes left in the fridge, so I cubed those, and a ton of peppers and onions from the garden. Some of the peppers were hot, and that made a great, so easy and quick sheet pan dinner. And then back to the peaches, I made a peach and jalapeno salsa. And that was something I had never made before, and it came out absolutely amazing, and I'm going to be making another batch either today or tomorrow. I threw some fresh peaches and tomatoes and cucumbers from the garden onto a green tossed salad, and we had our Friday night pizza night, which we made a peach and sausage and peach jam and basil pizza, which was phenomenal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching some of these meals. I hope it inspires you and gives you some ideas. Check out my recipes at simplyeatathome.com, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.